All right, guys, let's go. Let's go. Woo. All right, so this is first episode of Café con Cisco. Yeah, obviously, cafe. I love coffee. You're gonna see a lot of black on the show. You're gonna see a lot of Nike on the show. Um, Comfortable, a lot of socks. That's all you're gonna see on the show. So this is the first episode. I decided to just talk about stuff that just comes to mind because I have like a mind that's like all over the place, and like it just continues going. I feel like my brain doesn't never shuts down. Like I'm always just like thinking of like new ideas or like new goals or whatever, and then goals I never accomplish or whatever. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy being. I wish you guys could be up here. I'm like high energy all over the place. I can never host a party because I'm all over the place making drinks, making sure everybody has a drink, making sure everybody's okay. I talk fast, so I got Nike socks on. They're a little faded, they're old, but I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable in my home. I'm comfortable to finally do something like this. Um, but yeah, let's talk about me. I kind of like filmed a video before on the process of how I make my coffee, um, all that stuff. But let's talk about me. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm 37 years old. 5'7" tall, 147 pounds right now, maybe 145. Um, yeah, so I love black. I wear a lot of black. I love wolves. There's wolves all over my house, like pictures, and there's a wolf clock somewhere, and there's a wolf right here, centerpiece. Um, but yeah, I love wolves. I got wolves on my chest, tattooed. I got three wolves on my chest. I got a deer right here. I got a bison right here. I got mountains and stuff and stars up here. And then I got a studio mic on this side. It was my first tattoo. I'm gonna cover it up. I'm thinking about just doing half a sleeve of birds, or maybe a full sleeve of different types of birds and stuff like that. Um, I want to finish my chest. I want to do more wolves on this side, so three wolves on this side, so it could look like a wolf pack kind of thing. Um, but yeah, that's my tattoos. Cafe con Cisco is all about like, hopefully this blows up. It's all about just talking shit and just like being normal and maybe interviewing people. I got two chairs here set up already on this little corner. This is gonna be the corner for Cafe con Cisco. It's in my living room. Um, so yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the house. The house. I've already been living here a year and a half. So I bought the house in today, 2024, 2023. So I bought the house. I started looking for the house in December of 2023. I finally bought the house December 12th of 2023, and then I bought the house. I closed on the house January 12th. So it was only a month. January 12th of 2023 is when I closed on the house. And then I've been living here ever since. I've been living here a year and a half, almost going on 2 years. I can't believe that. I've been at my job now. I work in law enforcement. I've been at my job now for almost 3 years, so 2 years and a half. I started working there in March of. Damn, I can't think. So yeah, so March of 2023 is when I started. I started working there in March of 2023. I don't know what I'm talking about. What year are we in? 2025? Yeah, 2025. That's the year we're in. All right. So there's gonna be a lot of bloopers on this show. My mind is all over the place. But yeah, March of 2023 is when I started working at my job. 24, 25. It's been 2 years and a half. So yeah. So March of next year would be 3 years at my job. So yeah, enough of that. Enough about that. I work in law enforcement. You'll see me probably doing traffic control somewhere in the area. I live in Massachusetts. Um, I've been living in Massachusetts for over 20 something years already. I am from Puerto Rico. It took me 20 years to finally go back to Puerto Rico, and I went by myself and had I had fun, but I went by myself, so I had no idea. I felt out of place. I felt like I didn't belong. Um, I walked for 5 hours from La Verde all the way to El Morro, 5 hours straight, and then 5 hours back. It was a good time, a good walk. Um, but then walking back, I got caught up in the rain and stuff like that. But yeah, it was good. But next time I go to Puerto Rico, I gotta go with somebody that knows the island, somebody that's gonna like take me to like the tourist places and stuff like that. And but yeah, but I speak Spanish very well. Thank God for my mom and stuff like that. She always spoke Spanish in the house. Um, then I lived in Brooklyn for maybe 3 years, almost 4 years, maybe when I was a kid. Um, yeah, I was Barney, the dinosaur for Halloween one year. It was crazy. But I was a sports edition of Barney, which was cool. Um, what else? What else? I went to all schools here in Massachusetts, elementary, middle school, high school. I went to school in Puerto Rico. I went to school in Brooklyn. I'm not gonna say the years because then I'm gonna be thinking, and then I'm gonna take up the whole video just thinking and thinking and thinking. All right, so what else? What else? I'm single right now. Yeah, it's complicated, but yeah, I'm single right now. I'm bi, I'm Latino, Puerto Rican, 100%. As far as I know, I've never done one of those ancestry DNA tests. Uh, yeah, so this coffee is good, by the way. I drink Café Pilon. That's what I drink with oat milk, oat creamer, and a spoon of sugar and a pinch of like cinnamon. That's what I drink. Right now, I got the candle going. This is a pumpkin candle. I'm not gonna give the name out because like I don't want to get sued by the company. But there's a pumpkin candle. There's pumpkin candles all over the house. I love pumpkin season. I love going to Dunkin' Donuts and getting a pumpkin iced coffee, getting a pumpkin loaf, which is why I got this little belly right now. Pumpkin loaf, pumpkin donuts, whatever. Like that's me. Um, but yeah, what else? What else? I go by so many names. So my name is Francisco Javier. People call me Francisco. People call me Cisco. People call me Javier. People call me Javzier. My artist name Javzier on all music platforms. By the way, Javzier. Uh, People call me Cisco. That's my dancing name, my entertainer name. My people were calling me Cisco since I was like maybe 18 years old. That's when I started using that name since I was 18 years old. Um, but yeah, people call me Javierito in the family. People call me Rosario because I have two last names and Rosario is my officer name. So people call me Rosario all the time. My officer friends. Um, but yeah, what else? What else? Uh, I had um, I had two cats recently, two baby cats. They were so freaking cute. They were like 12 weeks old, and they were boy cats. And I got them. I got them from someone out in Greenfield. And then after I bought like $500 worth of supplies, like toys, food, drops for like fleas and stuff like that, cat tower, all that stuff, litter boxes, and the litter and all that stuff. I had them for 3 weeks, and my health just started declining. My health, like to the point where I felt like it was gonna turn into like bronchitis because it was like I felt asthma when I was running, wheezing, stuffy all the time, hives. When I would like play with them, I would get hives and stuff like that. I tried moving them to the shed, but it was too hot in the shed because the shed is not insulated. It has an air conditioner on the window. It has like plenty of space, but it's not insulated or drywalled, which I gotta get done. Um, Tried moving them out there, and then they were like overheating, and I brought them back inside, and I had them in the third bedroom. But no matter what I did, I got central air conditioner, so I felt like all the hair and all the their smell um was getting to me, and I couldn't live with them, so I finally had to give them back, and with all the supplies and stuff like that. And I was sad because I loved having them in the house, but my health comes first. I'm a runner, and I'm not gonna affect my health, or my health comes first. I'm by myself. I got no kids. Like, who's gonna take care of me? When I'm dying or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. What else? What else? What else? What else can I talk about? I talk about a lot of stuff. Let's talk about freaking more of myself, maybe more of myself. Oh, I love Miami. I've traveled to Hawaii during COVID. I loved Hawaii. It was beautiful. I went to the zoo out there in Honolulu. I went skydiving out there. I swam with sharks. That was during COVID for my birthday. I stayed in a Airbnb condo, privately owned tower where it overlooked all the island. It was pretty awesome. I walked from where I was staying at all the way to like the south of the island. Um, Ended up and the sun hits different in Hawaii. Like, you gotta wear a lot of sunblock because you literally like peel. It burns you. You literally like peel. It's pretty. So you gotta wear a lot of sunblock in Hawaii. But yeah, but I swam with sharks in the ocean. A boat took us out there. I was nauseous. I threw up in the ocean. My whole breakfast was in the ocean. I was like, shit, the sharks are gonna come up and they're gonna freaking eat all these people because I literally just threw up all my breakfast. Um, yeah, I went skydiving out there. It was pretty awesome. I got nauseous when the guy started spinning. I was nervous, but then when the guy started spinning to go down quicker, that made me nauseous. But I love skydiving. I would do it again. Um, I've traveled to Rosarito, Mexico for the Baja Beach Fest, and I've seen so many artists out there. I've seen freaking Becky G, Ryan Castro, um, Yamiko. Who else? Who else was out there? I believe Wisin Yandel was out there. Ivy Queen. Um, who else was out there? Tokisha was out there. Farina. Farina is one of my favorite female artists right now. Fariana, she's freaking amazing. Fariana, however you want to call her. Her she inspires me in the music, and how I write my music and stuff like that. She's so inspirational. She's so hardworking. You could tell. I've seen her perform live plenty of times. But yeah, let me not get off topic because I get off topic. Um, but yeah, I went to Rosarito, Mexico. I went to Honolulu, Hawaii. I went to Mexico. Was just for the Baja Beach Fest. It was a 3-day event. Lots of artists, lots of reggaeton, lots of music, lots of drinking. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty. My go-to drink is a margarita, by the way. Margarita on the rocks, salt on the rim, tequila, Patron, um, and just like, yeah, just a basic margarita. Um, what else? What else? I've been to Puerto Rico. I've been to Miami plenty of times. I love Miami. It's probably my favorite place in the whole world to travel destination. Miami. There's always something to do. There's so much food down there. There's so many people. There is beautiful beaches. They're a little bit crowded, but yeah, for my taste. But yeah, it's the water is perfect. There's always something to do. People working out, running. Like, there's always something to do. Clubs are open till like 5, 6 in the morning. It's pretty dope. Um, yeah, so when I go down there, Cuban food and all that. Um, but yeah, Miami is my favorite place in the whole world. Everybody, I always talk to people about Miami. Everybody that knows me. Um, but yeah, you can see my tattoos a little bit. I wore this shirt on purpose so you guys can see like my tattoos and get to know me a little bit. I'm a little bit more tanner. The light's a little bit bright, um, but yeah. What else? What else? There's so much to talk about. Oh, jet skiing. Jet skis in Miami is like the best thing to do out there. Yeah. So, what else? What else? What else? Oh, I've seen Farina. I've seen Farina plenty of times. I've seen Farina like in New York, um, Laboom, Laboom in New York. I've seen her out there. I've seen her. Uh, yeah, I've seen her in Laboom, New York. I've seen her in Miami at the Pride Fest in Miami, the Pride Week. I've seen her in Rosarito, Mexico. I've seen her recently. Oh, in Connecticut, in Stamford, Connecticut. I've seen her. Um, so 4 times I've seen Farina. I want to say, and she never. She always puts. She always um. She always kills it with her dancing and her singing and her rapping, and she sings live, and yeah, she's amazing. Before that, I used to be just J Lo, J Lo, J Lo, J Lo. Before Farina, J Lo, J Lo, J Lo, J Lo. I bumped into Farina. I think I was on Facebook scrolling, and I saw Como una Kardashian music video. Once I saw that video for Farina, I was a fan. Como una Kardashian. That's when I started like looking her up, and just being a fan of hers. And she's amazing. She's doing big things, killing it. Her album Underwater is nominated for a Latin Grammy. I hope she wins. She deserves it. I love Carol G. I love Bad Bunny. I love all Latino artists. All Latino artists. I love Nicki Minaj. I love Cardi B. I love um, female rappers. Yeah, I love female artists in general. Female rappers. Like if I ever do an album, if I ever make it to like fame or whatever, and I do an album, it would have to feature only female artists. Nati Natasha, Farina, Carol G, Becky G, all these amazing artists. J Lo, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj. Who else? Who else? They putting those two in a sentence together. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea, but this coffee is good, by the way. I'm all over the place. Like my mind is all over the place. I don't know what to talk about. This is the first episode, so write down in the comments what you want me to talk about and stuff like that. What else? What else? What else? This is kind of tough. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how influencers do it. Just like randomly talking. Um, I've seen I've seen the Bad Bunny. I didn't get. I wanted to go to Bad Bunny in El Coliseo in Puerto Rico. I was looking for tickets that were all sold out. I found out about the Coliseo and Bad Bunny late into the. It was only like 30 days, and I found out about his residency thing in Coliseo in Puerto Rico, and I was like, I found out so late, and then I started looking for tickets, and they were all sold out. I couldn't find a single ticket, and then I finally saw the Prime live because I have Amazon Prime, so I finally saw his live, and it was amazing, amazing. No judgments whatsoever, no criticism, nothing. It was freaking amazing. But the only thing that I would change on that, I get it because they probably got to sign NDAs and all that stuff. Was you know how many famous people went to his show? Becky G, Lala, freaking Ricky Martin, Young Miko, Tokisha, Belinda, um, so many amazing Maluma, so many amazing artists that went to his show. LeBron James, and I feel like Amazon Prime should have. I get it because it was live. I get it, but they should have just done a whole like documentary about it or whatever, like a whole like how they did for Carol G on Netflix. Like they should have just brought all these, filmed him in all those 30 days, and just film all the celebrities that actually attended. Fat Joe, DJ Khaled, all these celebrities that attended his residency, and I feel like it would have made it bigger. But I get it. It was like live. It was his 31st day, so it was like live in the moment. I get it. Mark Anthony, tears, crying. Uh, Joely Randy, Ningo Flow. It was amazing, amazing. So Bad Bunny, I gotta give it to you. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen, and I'm sure it was worth every penny. I'm sorry I couldn't make it out there, but I will make it next time. Um, Hopefully, I found out early enough where I could get tickets. But yeah, I love Maluma. One of my favorite songs with Maluma and Farina is Asi Asi. That was my ringtone. That was my alarm clock. Asi Asi. The video was so sexy. It was like a music video of my dreams, how I want a music video to look like. It was like that. It was amazing. So everybody go check out that song, Asi Asi by Farina and Maluma. Amazing video. Um, yeah, so what else? I have keep talking about myself. Yeah, I have a mother. Yes, I have a father. My father lives with a whole other family down in Florida. I haven't seen him in person since 2004. I have seen him like in video chats when he's talking to my sister or something, holidays. He has called me, wishing me well and stuff like that. But yeah, it's gonna get like a little bit. But yeah, I feel like there was I feel like my dad, the closest we ever been was when I was a child, when I was a kid. Like, you know, I know he loves us all and stuff, but I feel like when I was a kid, it was easier to handle me as a kid and love me and all that stuff. As I was growing up, I was very sexual. I'm gonna say all over the place. I kept getting in trouble, kept getting caught left and right doing crazy things I wasn't supposed to. Um, since Puerto Rico, so I remember things since I was like 5 years old. You know, I was a open-minded kid. You know, since I was like 5 years old. But anyways, I feel like when he left on 2004, I was holding a little bit of a grudge and stuff like that. My parents got divorced and stuff. Um, I was still in high school 2004. I graduated high school 2006. Um, my goal was to graduate high school and go to the Navy. I was going to be 18, go to the Navy, and not have to worry about work or college. Just go straight to the Navy, train for that. But when the divorce happened, I felt obligated to go to work and help my mom out and stuff like that, and help with the bills and help with because it was a lot. I knew the divorce. I knew it was gonna. I always tell my friends I knew it was gonna get bad. I knew I had to like work and help my mom out. But I feel like things would have been different. I feel like sometimes parents parents in general, not just my parents, but parents in general should, if they're together, if they're married, they should hold on a little bit. Hold on for your kids to all graduate high school and all go into that, all like start their lives, and then think about like separating. Once the kids are out of the house, think about separating, think about divorce, all that stuff. I think it would have been easier on the kids when stuff like that happens. Um, that's just me talking. I'm sure my parents know and stuff like that. I'm sure people, but I feel like parents' decisions do affect children's. That starts a generational curse, and it's like it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to break those curses. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, I feel like I would have been great in the Navy. I would have killed it. I would have been amazing. But yeah, it wasn't until yeah, there's a lot going on. So yeah, so I love my dad. We're great now. We don't talk every day, but I see all these like father son videos on TikTok, and I see movies that are like about dad and their kids and stuff like that, and I always cry in those movies. I always like tear up, and I'm a crier. I cry for movies. I cry for music. I cry for if I see another person crying, I cry. I'm a crier. I don't care if I'm in law enforcement. I don't care if I'm a cop. I don't care if I'm a deputy sheriff. I don't care. Like freaking, I cry. Like I'm a crier. I cried when I got sprayed with freaking OC for the first time. I got sprayed with a stream in a fog in a foam. Yeah, and it got right into my eyes, and I cried, but it wasn't because of the OC. It was because I wanted to kick people's ass that were talking shit. That's why I was crying, because it was like when I get angry and I want to kick people's ass and I want to fight them, I start crying because it's like I'm so angry. I get to like a certain, yeah, I got a fucking temper. You know what I'm saying? So, sorry about that. Um, yeah, I swear a lot. I cuss a lot, especially at work and stuff like that. Like I cuss a lot around my friends and stuff. I cuss a lot with my ex girlfriend. I cussed a lot. Um, but yeah. Um, so yeah, let's keep talking. So I was helping my mom when I graduated high school and stuff, and I worked at a pawn shop for 9 years. I loved the people that I worked with: Norma, Gio, Aixa, Justine. I loved the people that I worked with. Um, it was like a family kind of environment. But I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, listen, you spent 9 years in a pawn shop, and you could have gone to college in those 9 years. You could have gone to the Navy in those 9 years. You could have, but because I was money hungry and I wanted to help my mom out and stuff, it was like I just took what the first job that I was able to get. I don't regret it. I loved working there. I learned so much. But the way I got fired from there was a little dirty, but but it's okay. I still, yeah. Let's not talk about that. But yeah, but I could have I could have done so much, but I feel like I was so open minded as a kid, but I feel like I started being, hmm, I was always independent. I was always like independent. I was always like uh, a free soul, I guess. I was always into. I'm always in. I'm into. I'm still into nature. I love hiking. I love running in nature, outside, in the mountains and stuff like that. I love that. I feel like nature is my therapy. But yeah. But anyways, back to, you see, I'm like all over the place right now. My mind, it's like I can't control my mind. It's like all over the place. Anyways, so back to, I think those 9 years I could have done something better. It wasn't until recently that I finally chose a career, uh, that I got into March of 2023. Like I said, that's when I got into like I did the correctional academy for 3 months, worked a little bit in the jail, got sent to the police academy, did that for 6 months. I'm still working in the jail. Um, I'm a deputy sheriff with police powers. I could patrol if I want. I could go to any police department if I want here in Massachusetts. Um, but but yeah, working for the state, working with benefits, working with all that stuff. Literally, I feel like I finally made it. I finally bought a house. You know, I'm 37 years old. I finally bought a house 2 years, almost 2 years ago. Um, a lot of people start early. A lot of people have trust funds and are born into like rich families and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, we grew up poor, but we grew up happy. I always say we grew up poor in Puerto Rico, but we grew up happy. I just wish that the divorce never happened later on, when I was like already out of the house and done with the Navy and done with all that stuff. I wish the divorce would have happened later on, and I feel like my parents know that. Um, I call my mom every day. Bendición, cómo está, qué hace, te quiero mucho. Um, I hear her talk, I talk, and then that's it. I just say bendición and hang up. Like, I feel like I love my parents, I love my family, but I feel like my relationship could be better. But it's hard when you can't talk to your parents about your life, because my life is pretty wild. My life is pretty like my sexual relationships, my freaking, I'm bi, and my parents, are like very. I know they love me and stuff, but it's like it's hard to talk to them about. My mom's a Christian woman. I grew up in the church. I stopped going to church after my pastor passed away. My pastor pastored that church for like 36 years. I've been going to that church since I was 9 years old. So after my pastor passed away, that's when I like stopped attending church. I stopped taking part in church, and I did, and I remember I was just like, I just like my last day of church. I was like, this is it. I'm gonna finally live my life. I think I was older. I was in my 20s. That was in my 20s, I think. And I finally like decided to 2009 I think was like my last. I was already fading. I was already like one foot in, one foot out, like that's how I was 2009. um but it was I've been through a lot. I had to learn a lot of shit by myself, because I could never talk to my parents about sex or condoms or none of this. I had to like learn all that on my own. um yeah, so what am I talking about? Yeah, so anyways, so I moved out. I've been living on my own. I I've been working for my own since I was like 13 years old. I've always had a job. I've been living on my own maybe since I was 18, 19, 20 years old. I just like moved out, started living on my own. Struggled because I struggled. I had apartments with roaches, apartments with bed bugs, apartments with mice, apartment with freaking, yeah, just dangerous living situations, like, but I made it, you know what I'm saying? There was one point in my life where I was struggling to pay the rent, I was struggling to pay the car. I have a car, I've had it for 10 years, I paid it off in 8 years. So I've had my car for 10 years now. It's a 2012. Anyways, do the math. But I freaking was struggling when I was living in Springfield. I was struggling to like pay the bills, and I feel like the money wasn't enough. And I was literally considering just selling drugs and making money fast and all this stuff. But I decided not to. So I remember I went into X Room. It's a it's a gay club with male strippers, and then on Tuesdays they have female strippers. So yeah, so X Room in Springfield. I remember I walked in. Um, I spoke to Sammy. I told Sammy that I wanted to dance there. He told me to come in on a Thursday. I went in. I was drunk and I was like too shy, so I left. And then he's like, whenever you're ready, just you can start whenever you want. And then I went in the following week. It was a Friday, and I went in and I just started dancing. And I remember I started dancing right shirtless with a bandana around my neck and jeans, because I was too scared to like be in my underwear or jock straps or whatever I had to use, and jeans. And I was just walking around the floor. I wasn't even on the bar or nothing like that. Then I went the second week. No, my first 2 nights. It was my first 2 nights, Friday, Saturday. I was shy. Then I went the second week, and I started like not using the jeans. Started wearing briefs, like boxer briefs and stuff like that. And then I started getting on stage and all that stuff. And then, I was like, oh shit, okay, this is easy or whatever. I didn't have the greatest body, but I had an okay body. So then I finally just started wearing jock straps and started wearing all this stuff, and I was more confident, and I felt like the people loved me and stuff like that. And so Cisco from X Room. So that's where Cisco ATX came from. That name, Cisco ATX. it doesn't mean Texas. It means Cisco at X Room. So that's my Cisco ATX is like when I had an OnlyFans and I had all this stuff. Um, I could talk freely about it because I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide. That's one thing. I don't have any secrets. I have nothing to hide. Um, I think I thank God. I think the universe that I've always been safe. I've always been safe. I've always like got tested. I still get tested every 6 months. Yeah, I make sure that you know, yeah, that I'm clean and stuff like that. Um, yeah. So, anyways, back to back to that. So yeah, so I was dancing at X Room. I danced at the club for 5 years as a dancer. Um, and yeah, so I loved it. I loved it. I still want to go back, but because of my job and everything right now, I don't want to like put my job at risk. I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem, but you just never know. You never know. So it's like it's on a hold right now. Eventually, I do want to go back. I want to dance. I want to do all this stuff, but it's on hold right now. It's like something I got to think about. What else? What else? Well, I'm talking a lot. Uh, also, yeah. So back to my upbringing. So I remember, I remember coming to the states. The fourth grade in the Kelly School in Holyoke, and I remember my first best friend, and I remember all this stuff growing up. Anyways, back to my, anyways, I have like so many good memories. But yeah, so back to my family. I have two brothers, one older, one younger. I'm in the middle, and then I have a younger sister. She's the baby. Um, they're all older. They all have kids. They're all living their lives. Um, yeah, I feel like we were close. We were all close growing up, and then after, I feel like maybe after the divorce is when everybody like went their separate ways, and we all had our different. We all had like our group of friends. We sometimes we didn't have the same friends. We had different friends. Sometimes we would have the same friends. Um, we all did everything by. We were so independent. We did everything by ourselves. I feel like sometimes we considered our friends more family than our regular family, but it was because we were so different. We were so different, and yeah. So I love them, but I'm more like I'm a lone wolf now. Like I love being by myself. Sometimes it's hard, but I'm a lone wolf. I love doing everything on my own time, coming home, not having to fight about why I was late, where was I, being able to go anywhere, just be anywhere, be independent, be anywhere. And and yeah, it's kind of sad. I'm 37. I don't have any kids and stuff like that. But I kind of I kind of wanted the kids when I was like young. When I was like 19, I wanted to be a young father. But everything happens for a reason, right? Everything happens for a reason. Um, what else? What else? This is a long episode. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that I could talk about and stuff like that. But eventually, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Um, what else? What else? What else can I talk about? I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, um, yeah. I think when I'll stop recording when I hit this point when I don't know what else to talk about. I'll freaking just stop talking and end the video. I'm gonna try to keep them as natural as possible. Hopefully this takes off and hopefully, but yeah, um, but yeah, that's it. I think that's all I want to talk about right now. Yeah, I love my family. I love my family in Brooklyn, New York. I love my family here. I love my family anywhere. I don't want them to feel like I forgot about them or just pushed them to the side or anything like that. I'm just focused on me and sometimes what's best for me, for healing, for to feel content because I'm not fully happy, but to like feel content with my life and feel I prefer to just be alone, just be alone and that's it. That's my life. But yeah. 40 minutes. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, we'll stop the first episode there and then we'll continue. I'm gonna try to do it like once a week. Try to do these episodes once a week, but for now we'll keep it there. We'll love you guys. Bye.